Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 MOCs of the Week episode where I show you the coolest custom LEGO creations I happen to see people building in bricks throughout this last week. Links to everybody I'm talking about and more are in the description below if you want to learn more or see more designs from these builders that I'm showing you today. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content and would like to see more of it. And before I jump in, first, let me just say that the custom building instructions that have popped up in the web store this week come from the designer Zio, and it's not one design, it's actually 5 different ones. It's a new batch of Mario characters, this time focusing mostly on some of the classic villains. We've got a Bob-omb, a Goomba, there is a Boo, a Koopa Troopa, as well as a Piranha Plant. Together they flesh out an even larger group of Mario characters, all of which have some form of posability here and there if you wanted to play around with the way they look. Video link in the description as well, that is brickvault.toys for the instructions. And now let's jump into top 10 MOCs of the week. The first one here is from Rocco Buttliere. The title is Parliament 2.0. So this is an updated build from the same designer back from 2015. We are looking at the Palace of Westminster in London. At 1/650 scale, it is nearly 12,000 pieces. And when you look closer and closer and closer at this model, you can see just how detailed each of these little sections of the palace really is. Heck, my fingers hurt even thinking about the Lego set, but this build looks way more dense and complex. Rocco is easily one of my favorite micro scale builders in the scene right now, and this is a perfect example of seeing just interesting pieces being used in unique ways. Microphone pieces at the top of a tower, and minifigure legs make up a ton of detailing along the edge of the roof. There are just so many strange connections. It looks great. Now we're jumping over to the build from the thumbnail from the designer Moko. This is FabuSoldier 02. This guy is awesome at creating robots and mecha designs. This is more of like a mecha exo suit, very similar, I think at least, to the Edge of Tomorrow suit, maybe even what we saw at the end of the Matrix. And of course, the Fabu in the name is the Fabuland figurehead that is apparently the pilot of this extremely deadly looking robot. Double miniguns, and what just looks like 2 massive drums of ammunition. Fun detail here is, of course, the life-size cigarette that he's smoking, so I suppose this is like a mini robot, or maybe in this universe of animals in gigantic killer robot mecha machines, they also produce massive cigarettes. Who knows? It is a wild build though. And now let's jump over to just a classic looking scene here from Ben Cossy. This is the South Mole Squid. Apparently he inks the ships that go too fast and he gives light to the ships that he likes. The scale is a little funny here because it looks kind of like a normal size lighthouse. You can even see a crab along the beach. But then at the same time, we have these tiny little ships. And according to the description, this, I suppose, is just a giant lighthouse and a giant squid, and I suppose giant crabs. Great building techniques, though. The tentacles wrapping around the lighthouse itself really feel realistic. And if you are keeping track of the numbers, I don't present these in any order of best to worst or anything. This is number 7 on the list from Bart de Dobbelaer. This is Gods of Time. Great color highlights. Interesting tower build in the center. I like the lush overgrowing greenery that kind of hangs over the walls and reminds me of sort of like a Tower of Babylon thing. And then check out this video. The whole thing is mechanized and spins, and then all the little things in the middle spin as well. Great looking build, just very interesting visually. And now we're jumping over to another sci-fi kind of creation. This is the Aku MR01 from Devid VII. The description for this one is somewhat morbid. It is a anti-personnel vehicle meant specifically to deal with like cartels in the desert. So you can see some weapons along the bottom, missiles and stuff. There seems to be a machine gun right in the front. I like the series of rigid extensions in the back. They don't feel like they're supposed to even be aerodynamic. This thing is keeping itself off the ground with perhaps jets of some kind underneath, or maybe an anti-gravity something. The dust plume in the back looks excellent, and it's just a cool looking futuristic military vehicle with some nice extra sticker detailings that this guy put on along the sides. We are jumping to another micro build. This is all digital, but I don't know if that really matters too much in the grand scheme of things. What I liked here so much is just the use of a lot of these rounded kind of tiles. There's no exposed studs along the top, or hardly any, I should say. And with bricks built on their sides, it just gives off a completely different feel for a micro scale landscape. This is from MWBricks. The title is Megalith. This is a big facility within the Ace Combat universe, and there are some great little techniques used here to flesh out both the mechanical detailings of this huge facility and the growth along the coastline. Anyways, just some unique connections here for microscale, and we've moved on to a build from the designer Lego Pig, and the title is Lucerys Velaryon and Arrax. This build was done in conjunction with the release of House of the Dragon. The dragon that you're seeing in this build is called Arrax. It's got some great spike detailing along the top. I like the inclusion of a lot of studs along the sides. It really gives you that scaly dragon skin effect. Excellent build for the face. The minifigure hands making up the teeth is a really good touch, and the tail feels extremely fluid. It's just a solid build through and through for this dragon. This is number 3 now in the lineup from delayice. The title is Golden Doodle, so it is a golden doodle dog. The shaggy hair along the top of the head that droops down is perfect. He's got nice wide paws, looks something like a puppy, and there's also a wonderful shaggy tail as well. It's just a fun life-size golden doodle. It looks kind of like a puppy, though I'm not really sure how big golden doodles actually get in real life. It's just a fun animal build, life-size or close to it, and I couldn't help myself. Jazlecraz has created a Millennium Falcon MOC at UCS minifig scale using some very, very different techniques that I have not yet seen before for this type of model. The forked nose has side-built bricks, but they're actually at an angle, so the flat edge of the bricks moves along the angular side of the fork. That is a totally different type of approach. The rounded dish is also all side-built bricks. There's a little bit of overlapping you can see with some of the slope pieces. In this way, the model stays very studless and only has details and textures when the model specifically calls for it. It's cool to see such a different, unique approach to a model that has been done several times before in the past. Very different build style compared to Marshall Banana, and I thought you guys might get a kick out of it. Let's move on to the last one. Number 1 of the week comes from the designer Blue Builder. This was actually a together build between father and son, and specifically we are looking at the landing at Sword Beach, Normandy during D-Day. So along one edge you can see the coastline and just the beginning edge of a landing craft that looks like it's about to drop its front doors. There's already some soldiers in the water, and very quickly they're about to meet the defenses of the Germans that are waiting for them. There's a big old tank, small trench line, and then soon after you can see where the Germans have kind of set up camp where they've been waiting for them in a house, and they're also cooking some food towards the back. Lots of details, tons of stuff to check out here. And now let's finish off with some honorable mentions. Here's another German vehicle. This is the Zerstorer from the designer Leo. This looks German also. The Dunzenberg SJ from Isaac W. Andres Lenander built Hans, the optician mouse, in his workshop. Quite an interesting universe here, but you can see that the Lego glasses are blending with, I guess, a broken pair of glasses. Then Luis Pena has the Spinosaurus and Sawfish, which is a fun little couple of creatures. Eero O'Conan revisited one of his brick-built characters. This is Doreen in Verardi. And lastly, we have a very colorful public bus. The title is Intra-City Orange Transit Bus from Just Around the Block. All right, that is it for my personal favorite top 10 MOCs of the week. Remember, links to everybody and more all in the description below. If you enjoy our content, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share, and we will see you next time at BrickVault.